Okay, I've kind of done this so that people who don't do biology should be able to understand it. Also, if you do biology, then hopefully it will be interesting too. So first of all, we're going to look at, that's not helpful, anatomy. So we're going to look at the brainstem first. Basically, the brainstem is right in the middle of the brain, as the name suggests, and everything else is built around it. It joins to the top of your spinal cord, so every single nerve going on in the body has to go through your brainstem. And I'm sure a lot of you know that the right side of your brain controls the left side of your body, and vice versa. Well, this is where it crosses over. It's true.
I just didn't know. I thought I should in my hands.
Okay, and the main structures are listed here. Okay, the next bit is the limbic system, which basically wraps around the brainstem, and it's the oldest part in evolutionary terms of the body. It basically evolved so that humans could manage this fight or flight emotion that we have, which was more useful back in the days when we hunted. And it also associates feelings and emotions with sensations such as smell and sight. It also controls a lot of how we behave and our inbuilt gut feelings. Yeah, so hopefully we've been brought up to kind of believe that this is very wrong.
You've got to be told. Sorry.
Hanging people because they're black is very wrong, just to make it clear. So this blame this on the limbic system if you think this is right. Another thing is survival. Our limbic system will tell us not to eat that because it will make you faint. Right, now we move on to the actual the lobes. So each cerebral hemisphere is divided up into 4 lobes, and then those are again divided up into smaller parts, all which have a different function in the brain. The 4 main ones are parietal, frontal, temporal, and occipital, and hopefully now you can see how they're divided up. So if you can all get your little brain bits up. So my thinking was it would be very boring if I put all of these parts on the board and read them out and dictated exactly what each of them did. Yes, thank you, Tom. So I thought if you guys did one each, so you know exactly what it does and how it fits into the whole brain, that would be more interesting. And I think I'll call you up maybe in 3 groups, and you can look at this picture, and then you have to memorize it and go back and write down everything you can remember. And then we'll put them together at the end to make it kind of jigsaw.
This is like learning in biology.
I know, I'm sorry.
Rally table. What would you learn?
I'm pretty sure mine's wrong.
So now I need everyone to come up and just sum up in 5 words what your part does, and then put it on the
5
board.
words.
Do we have to? Oh my goodness.
I'm going to do 1 point. I reckon
Basically, my thing controls 6 things, so I can't tell you all of it. But it's responsible for senses generally. Primary sensory node area. So it controls sort of things like balance, vibration, touch, and other things. Are you alright? And you put some on the floor.
Do you want the floor? Do you want the floor?
What is your next, Isaac?
Next.
I have one to go with.
I go. Well, does area ideas in 5 words exactly? Processes words into meaningful ideas.
Ooh, yeah! Rob.
I don't have 5 words, I'm going to say it anyway. Okay, it interprets the sensation of touch from the opposite side of the body and uses previous experience. Yay. I can't say it. I didn't have to say it. It's the statory.
Use your words.
Just Gestatory.
Gestatory.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I didn't see the paper. But I think, because it's visual association area, it might be, I'm guessing, that you just look at something and then the optic nerve kind of like process in your brain to make it make sense in your brain.
I have the prefrontal cortex, and it's how you react in different situations and the learned rules you get from past experiences. It wasn't pleasant, I'm better.
Auditory association area, so it's associating.
I had the primary motor area, it controls movement in the opposite side of the body.
No pressure. Everyone's looking at you. Oh, it's all slow. Analyze this taste and smell to see if you like food. Yellow.
I had the bronze area, which partners muscle contraction for writing comprehension.
Good, good.
Motor association area, which is apparently just a motor association area. Didn't actually say anything.
Primary cortex, there were two that were primary something cortexes, so I was working out which one was which and I didn't have time to read. So I read the other one and then I realised I didn't read that one, so I didn't remember it.
We'll put the picture.
What did Okay, so hopefully you get a picture of what each part of the brain does now.
Yeah, that looks like a brain.
Very accurate brain.
Now we're moving on to neurotransmitters.
Good.
So dopamine controls the voluntary movements of your body and also regulates pleasurable emotions. Because of this, drugs like cocaine and heroin and alcohol increase the concentration of this neurotransmitter, and that leads to feeling happy. We'll look more at this when we do this. So next one's serotonin, which probably everyone knows. It has a significant effect on mood and anxiety. A low serotonin level is linked to things like depression and being suicidal. Stop just being suicidal.
It's all enjoying exercise.
I'm not saying you need to do it. Yes, you are. I'm just going to say 5 and 6.
If I'm not to say that,
He's got it wrong.
The next one is acetylcholine. This was the first one to be discovered actually in 1921, and it's responsible for stimulating muscles and activates the motor neurons that control the skeletal muscle. Lack of this has a huge effect, things like Alzheimer's disease. The next one is noradrenaline, more commonly known as adrenaline. This is probably the most well-known one and excites you. It also raises blood pressure and heart pressure, which is why we probably this morning when you're waiting for your exam results, there's lots of adrenaline. Now to functions of the brain. What exactly does it do? As in many cases, it is okay, the strongest emotion is probably fear, and this is linked to our want to survive, which is the next emotion. Now, although here in the developed 21st century, we don't really have this inbuilt need to survive. For example, on the way to school, you probably aren't dodging bullets and things like that, as you would be in some parts of the world. But it is still in our brains, even though we don't really use it anymore. So, has anyone ever nearly fallen asleep and then suddenly jerked awake? Yeah, probably everyone. That's actually due to all your muscles relaxing at once. And the only other time that happens is when you die. So basically, your body jerks because your brain's just checking that you're alive. So that's not that. The other one is memory and pleasure. So what happens when the brain goes wrong? So if you have a stroke, your Broca's area and your ventrals area, which two of you probably had, are severely damaged. And when you have a stroke, 80% of the impact is on your frontal lobe. And your frontal lobe allows you to talk and gives you that ability. So obviously if you have a stroke, you lose that ability and your speech becomes slurred. Now on to Parkinson's. So if we look back to dopamine, one of the neurotransmitters, Parkinson's is basically when you don't have sufficient dopamine being released. And dopamine helps your coordination, so if you don't have dopamine, then you have less coordination, and you shake a lot if you have Parkinson's. So these are brain scans, and there are 3 states your brain can be in. You can be in a vegetative state, or normal, or you can have brain death, which is illustrated by this diagram here. So strokes and Parkinson's, strokes and Parkinson's are called brain degenerative diseases because they happen, obviously, as your brain deteriorates. But you can also have brain disease that's linked to trauma, some things like amnesia, so if you get hit on the head, things like that. So drugs also affect our brain in a massive way. Despite what people say, cocaine is very dangerous.
Who says it's not?
But I've had Leanne, I'm sure you did.
When I say cocaine is not
Leanne will say.
Cocaine targets natural weaknesses in your brain, so that's why it's particularly dangerous. So whilst it may not affect absolutely everyone, if you do have something wrong with your brain that you're not sure about, it can have detrimental effects. And can lead to things like hemorrhage. Now I'm going to see if this works. Does the internet work, out of interest?
If it's YouTube, then it won't know.
Okay, I've not YouTube.
You can bypass that one for too.
Do you know?
Yes, onlineyourlead.com.
And is there sound as well?
We use this in psychology.
We did this in psychology, it was great.
Don't use Mouse 42, it's so much better.
No technique.
Oh, the nicer stuff.
Mouse 42 is better.
You just went for about 4 hours.
Mouse 42 is better.
Yes, because we can order different types of
Competition
drugs.
level Welsh figures. Isn't that just it? It's one looks like a straw. I don't know what's wrong. I think it's probably the
I'm saying it's alternative. Oh my god.
I'm saying to mouse that's gyrating in the background.
Hey Liz.
So Jack, can you say I'm an ecstasy?
Guys,
Yeah.
intercourse is nice and all.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I kind of thought it would be not very ethical to experiment on you guys, so I think we have to do it on mice instead. So we'll pick this mouse.
I'll take the hit.
So this operates on the side of your brain where you take cocaine. So there's no sound, so you just have to use your imagination. So these are your neurotransmitters here, and this is the So it basically blocks your receptors so that the normal neurotransmitters can't get through. And that's how a lot of drugs work actually, including alcohol, which we'll see in a minute. Okay, and then we'll look at one more, which is
Do you want it when you need it?
oh no,
You've got to actually put it on the chair.
I did.
I don't know if you're saying do the math.
So alcohol works in a similar way. You block the synapses, and that's why your reactions become much slower. It's actually called double inhibition because when you first take alcohol, the frontal lobe nerve impulses are temporarily inhibited, and then this induces loss of control. And if you don't have control, then you become excitable. So that's why first you get quite
I don't know what is
that's right, you can't when you pick, and then if you have too much of it, you suddenly get really excited.
She's feeling the force.
I think we can so hopefully that's given you a little insight into how the brain works and how we can affect our bodies by our brains. Are there any questions?
Question?
Yes, go on, dear.
Questions?
Yes.
I can ask you a hard question.
Oh, I can ask you about, no, that's cannabis, isn't it? Not cocaine.
Do you want to see cannabis?
Can you do marijuana?
Yeah.
Because that's...
Which one?
No, the left. Left one. The grey one, grey guy.
The one on the couch?
No. Smoking. Just...
See what it's the ground, shall we? That's all it's about. That doesn't look good. I didn't want to have it, but it's awful. How do you He hasn't had any negative to me, so... Are you the real question for this is how do you feel about hangover?
Being